UFP, the United Federation of Podcasts.
Engage.
78 years have passed since the days of the original USS Enterprise. Now a new Galaxy Star ship has been designed.
Transporter Chief, beam our listeners aboard. Welcome to Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast on the United Federation of Podcast Network. I am Counselor Amy Nelson, and with me is Chief Recreational Officer Ria Papagiorgio and Head of Going Green Places, Joe Keegan.
Going Green Places. Do you know what listeners, I was thinking about Amy and Ria. All of my hosts driving through Scotland, it's just so green because it's coming into spring and summer, and it rains a lot, and there's a little bit of sun. It's perfect climate for growing green things. So. In Glasgow, interestingly, in Gaelic means dear green place.
Oh,
which is
very fitting. Very fitting. Ria, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Finally starting to recover from my couple months in Texas and starting to settle back in the routine and back working for the airline. And so finally starting to get a hold of life. My little band gig is behind me. So starting to do laundry again. Eventually I'll unpack. Yeah. How about you, Amy?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm in the middle of summer school. I have one kid who is so excited to do math each and every day. And when I say do math, listeners, we are doing 6 hours every day. Like at 7 a.m. to noon.
If you do
Amy,
the math
you
there,
need that.
that's only 5 hours.
Well, he sometimes stays longer because he wants to do more math.
Wow.
This kid is amazing.
But didn't you have
But
two
I mean,
kids?
the technical time is till noon, but he's usually staying 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Didn't you have two
Yeah,
kids
Amy,
last week?
Yeah, I just one kid coming to summer school.
You chased the other one off?
Well, she went on vacation with her family, so she'll be back next week, but then he's leaving, so I'll still only have one kid. It'll just be a different kid.
Gotcha. Possibly a less enthusiastic kid.
Oh, she's wonderful. She came the first week, and she wants to do math too. I'm just like, who are these kids? I love it. I
Math
love
is
it. They
awesome.
inspire me.
Yeah.
Amy, I know why you're doing the summer school, but you need like a psych evaluation for like being a teacher through the year and then wanting to go back to work during your summer holidays.
I want
So-
a summer
Not right.
holiday.
We're having even more training this summer, and they're going to be paying us. And so I signed up for 2 workshops, and that money is going to get me to Chicago next year.
Yes.
So
Always a plan.
I'm working a lot, but I just keep it in my mind as I'm sitting at school, not enjoying my summer. This is for Star Trek. This is for Star Trek. So reaching that goal.
Quite right.
Yeah.
Chicago's going to be a blast, by the way.
Yes.
Logs accessed.
Well, let's check the communication array and see if we have any comments from our listeners.
From the Federation Council Chambers pertaining to Galaxy Class Episode 43, The Prime Directive, Jim Stoffel says, I love Ria's quote, understand more, judge less. Well, I love Jim Stoffel's quote.
Right? Don't you love it when the listeners agree with you?
Yeah.
We've also got a comment from Casey Pettitt. I feel like it should be more of a guiding principle rather than a bright line rule that can be broken. I take it that's about the Prime Directive,
Yes,
given
sir.
that's the name of the episode, which I wasn't involved in. But yeah, I like that idea that it's kind of a rule of thumb almost, and it's not set in stone in any way.
Yeah, that's sort of what we came to, our conclusion at the end of that, because it seems like such this, rule that cannot be broken, and then it gets broken all the time. And
Yeah, you should listen to that episode, Joe. Just saying.
Okay, I will.
And our good friend William Jackson on Twitter says, loved the Prime Directive talk on Galaxy Class with Miss Amy and Ria Papagiorgio. So thank you for the retweet and your comment and for listening all the time. Thanks, William. You guys, we got an email from Stuart again.
Yay.
And he writes, another thought I had but forgot to mention, and this is again, going with the Prime Directive episode. In DS9, we learned that the Ferengi bought warp tech from the Breen. How should the Prime Directive be applied in situations like this? The Ferengi hadn't come to the level of development needed by a society to break the light barrier on their own. So should we have made contact? Can we see evidence of the Ferengi taking a shortcut in the structure of their society as a result of this? Just some additional thoughts I wanted to pose to you. Live long and prosper, Stu. Right?
I suppose we wouldn't necessarily know when we made first contact where they got their warp technology from. So we would just see them as a species that was warp capable and said, okay, let's go and have a wee chat. It might become obvious that when we did start speaking to them that they weren't at the level of other species that were warp capable who had done it on their own.
I guess my question would be, how did the Ferengi and the Breen first make contact? Did the Breen come to Ferenginar, or were the Ferengi in space, kind of like we are as Earthlings, but just not warp capable yet? But it's entirely consistent with Ferengi culture to purchase that technology.
Yes, it is.
So, that's a good one.
Well, thanks, Stu.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks. And remember, listeners, if you want to, we're more than happy for you to message us on Federation Council Chambers or via Twitter, or send us an email. If it's a nice email, we'll read it out. If it's not, we'll probably delete it. So there you go. Make it nice.
I don't know. It might be fun to read a nasty email.
We did that on Earl Grey.
Oh, was that the one that said it was a bit self-indulgent reading out the feedback?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. You can't win, can you?
Everyone's got an opinion.
Some opinions are stupid.
Not our listeners.
No.
We've got smart, intelligent listeners.
That's right. Who probably like math.
Oh, they do. And science.
Oh, yeah. And Star Trek.
Of course.
This is the captain. Senior officers will report to my ready room immediately.
Well, today we are going to continue our character profile series, our secondary character profile series, and we are going to discuss Wesley Crusher. And I was a little hesitant starting this, but after doing some research and watching some episodes and thinking about the time with Wesley, I really like Wesley Crusher. And it wasn't until I came into this fandom that some people don't like Wesley. And I was really shocked because I always liked him from the beginning when I started watching him. I felt like he was relatable. And then to see that people don't like him, that he was rated very poorly in sci-fi world, like one of the most hated characters, just barely above Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars. Now that surprised
That's low.
me. Yes. So guys, what do you think about Wesley Crusher? What's a character trait, or what do you think of when we say Wesley Crusher? Joe?
I love Wesley. I know I've said it on podcasts before. I think Will Wheaton is a year or two older than me. So
he's my age. So a little bit older, Joe.
A little bit older. So when watching TNG in the 80s for the first time, in the 80s and 90s, he was a little bit older. So it seemed like an attainable goal for me when I was 13, somebody to look up to. In my research, I looked at some of the reasons why people didn't like them, and I just assumed that people were dropped on their heads as a baby. Do you know what I mean? Some of these opinions, like, I had to Google it, but there was a Mary Sue character. And was Mary Sue one of the kids in the Waltons or something? Or Little
No,
House in the Prairie?
I
Or
actually looked
something like
that
that?
up today. Mary Sue was originally created at, to, at by a Trek writer to kind of parody Trek fiction, where writers were writing these stories and inserting this character that could do everything and was great at everything and had no faults, kind of like to insert themselves. And that character was named Mary Sue.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like a Trek parody of Trek uh, fandom or something. But yeah,
I didn't
kind
know
of
that.
like,
I just assumed it was like one of the teenage girls from Little House in the Prairie or the Waltons or the Brady Bunch.
yeah, that's what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
that was Brady
Yeah.
Bunch. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, so I've always really liked him. And honestly don't get the hate. See, if you're like, he was effectively portrayed as on most of the occasions, as like a lone teenager on this ship of adults. Yes, there are a couple of occasions where you see him with other people his age, but they are by far in the minority. So I think he comes across as really resilient to be able to cope with working with adults who don't treat him very respectfully most of the time. So yeah, very cool, very smart, which I really appreciated. So, Ria, what about you?
Well, me being, I guess, visually minded, the first thing I think of is his toothy grin, him standing there smiling and sometimes in his rainbow sweater. But I guess in my mind, I picture the younger Wesley. But um, then I guess the next thing I think of is just how reviled he is. And I think it's one of those things where, it's like, what's that band? Nickelback? Like you're just supposed to hate Nickelback and you're just supposed to hate Wesley. Um, I never hated him. I never related to him, except that when you were talking, Joe, it reminded me, when I was a kid and TNG was first airing, I kind of resented him because it wasn't fair that he got to be on a starship and he got all these opportunities that nobody else got. I mean, I would like to sit at the helm of a starship, of the Enterprise. I would like to be acting ensign. I'd like to save the day a few hundred times. I mean, it's not fair just because his mom was the doctor. Meh. But
Well, and he was exceptionally smart.
well,
And
yeah.
when I think about why I enjoyed Wesley, it's because he has very similar character traits that I myself have. Like, especially as a teenager and young adult, like, I wanted to please everyone, like my parents, my teachers. Like, I wanted to be that kid. And yeah, some things in school came very easy for me. And so when Wesley was talking to Guinan when he was looking for in evolution, the little nanites. And, Guinan asked, well, do you expect to get a good grade? And he's like, I always get an A. And I'm like, oh, yes. Like sometimes the grade just isn't good enough. And it's because it's sometimes easy to get an A. And like I related that to that in school. And so like his like curiosity with all things, I totally love that about Wesley and how he, again, like I said, wanted to please everyone, especially Picard. Like I really related to Wesley in that aspect.
That is one character trait I really admire of his is his creative thinking, his resourcefulness. I mean, it's one thing to be super duper intelligent, but if you can't do anything to it, but he was always able to make connections that nobody else saw, and that was cool.
Ria, you kind of mentioned it almost. The first thing I think of when I think of Wesley is jumpers.
Yeah.
You guys call them sweaters. Do you guys have jumpers
Well,
in the US? Like a sweater, a knitted.
Well, we have sweaters.
Call them-
When you say
Yeah,
jumper, I think of like a jumpsuit, like a one piece.
No, our jumpers are your sweaters.
Gotcha. Because I have plenty of jumpsuits, some really cool ones that I might be busting out at a Star Trek convention near you.
So, do you have an obscure fact that maybe we don't know about Wesley Crusher?
The only thing I really know, which I'm kind of amazed by, and I'm kind of glad it didn't go this way, is now that 1987 Paramount memo with the casting options. The only option to play Wesley is J.D. Roth on the casting memo. So that's my obscure fact about Wesley.
Who's J.D. Roth?
Oh, he's got one of those faces. He's been in everything, hasn't he? You Google him and you'll see.
Oh, so he was on the call list?
Yes, he was the only suggestion for. I don't know what he's been in, but I've seen him in a ton of stuff. I will look him up on IMDb just now and tell you what he's been in that you might have seen.
So along the same vein, can I say my obscure fact while you're looking?
Okay.
Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. In The Next Generation Companion, which I now have that book. Thank you. It says, during the early development of the series, Robert Justman convinced Roddenberry to change the character into female with the name Leslie Crusher. As Justman told him, quote, geez, everybody has boy teenagers. Let's do a girl. Let's explore the problems that female adolescents go through, because that's never done, end quote. However, the character was later turned back into a boy, as in the original concept.
Yeah, that would have been so cool to have a girl who could do everything and save the ship and was awesome.
But would they have done it like that?
I hope so. I hope they wouldn't have dumbed her down.
I don't think they would have done that in the 80s. I think she should have been a girl and had all the perceived girl problems and not been a genius. And
No, because the casting call says Leslie Crusher, an appealing 15-year-old Caucasian girl. Her remarkable mind and photographic memory make it seem not unlikely for her to become, at 15, a Starfleet acting ensign. Otherwise, she is a normal teenager. So she still would be very smart and get to be acting ensign.
Yeah, but appealing, what does that appealing mean?
I guarantee you,
nice to look
in the mid-'80s, it meant party.
Cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was something else. Would they have played her more like a thingy from Big Bang Theory? Sheldon's girlfriend?
Amy Farrah Fowler.
Yes. Would they have played her like that?
Or would they have played her like Penny, but smart?
Yeah, like a cross between the two. Like smart but awkward but pretty.
Yeah, I mean, because it says otherwise a normal teenager.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
I wouldn't have liked that.
Ria, do you have an obscure fact?
I have a couple, actually.
Oh,
so
do share.
One obscure fact, I don't know how obscure it is because I might have mentioned it before, but the one and only John Champion had auditioned for the role of Wesley Crusher. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
I did not know this.
Then we would have had
That's pretty cool.
Super cute Wesley Crusher. And instead we had Will Wheaton, who was okay. So,
oh my goodness.
But my other, I guess my obscure fact is a math fact. So Wesley was in 82 episodes before he left in Final Mission. And of those 82 episodes, he saved the day 13 times. So that was approximately 16% of the time. However, if you just look at season 1, and if you count Encounter at Farpoint as one episode, he saved the day, let's see, I'm reading my notes here. Oh yeah, in season 1, if you have 25 episodes, he saved the day 6 times. So that was 24%. So almost once every 4 episodes, Wesley saved the day. So I think season 1 gave him that kind of a bad reputation of, the Mary Sue.
I didn't know that.
I love the math in that. Fabulous.
Okay, but I don't know who John Champion is.
Oh, he's the host of Mission Log, a Roddenberry Network podcast.
Oh, I thought he was a famous actor. Okay.
He could have been.
He's in the business. He's in the biz.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so my obscure fact I'm putting in 2, which I literally did not know this. So in April 2002, Ashley Judd was on Letterman to promote her new movie, High Crimes. Letterman surprised her with a clip of her appearance on TNG where she went on a date with Wesley Crusher. Judd mentioned that she was reprising the role of Robin Leffler in Star Trek Nemesis as Wesley's wife. However, this never happened. How cool would that have been?
I'm laughing
Ooh.
because I think that Leffler could have done better, but well, no, Wesley was a
No.
traveler.
Ria.
Wesley could have done better
Rhea.
because Leffler had kind of a negative attitude. I don't know. Maybe
So
they were
Le-
perfect for each other.
Wesley could have done better.
Yeah, edit everything I just said out.
No, I would have liked that. Although Wesley barely made it into Nemesis, didn't he? Or was it only in a deleted scene?
Deleted scene.
Yeah, so interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right. What would you say is Wesley's greatest impact?
He did save the ship a number of times. There is something that I actually have. I personally think his greatest impact is something that I'll talk about later when we talk about relationships. But of all the times he saved the ship, just looking at that, I would go with the game. You know, he did all sorts of stuff, site-to-site transport, and Robin Leffler, and reactivating data, and setting up the phaser to, fire to trick them into thinking he was somewhere else. And I don't know. There's so many times that he saved the ship, but I enjoy that one the most.
I was going to choose that one as well, Ria. My second choice would have been Final Mission, where Picard's injured and he has to solve the force field protecting the water, energy bolts been fired, and he does it. He kind of takes command when Picard's down, so I love that one.
Yeah, saves Picard's life. I mean, that's got to be pretty
Right up
big
there.
impact. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Where No Man Has Gone Before, where he phases and we meet the Traveler. And I feel like that story, and, we see it again in Remember Me, and then again in Journey's End. And his journey, I think that's the biggest impact of meeting the Traveler. And I think it really, the Traveler impacts Beverly and Picard, because that's where he was told. It says he told Captain Picard a long time ago that you were very special, like Mozart, and that you were destined for something quite different from the rest of us. And so to have that be recognized by an outsider, and then we see his arc with that, I think that's a very big impact, at least on him personally.
I always found the whole Traveller thing a bit hokey. But in Stargate, when the humans become the fifth race, remember that Asgard said you have the potential to be the fifth race, but you're still very young. The idea that humanity is potentially more important than other beings in the galaxy. While I would like it to be true, I always think it's a bit daft. And I think the same thing about the Wesley Traveller thing. And the only way I can headcanon it is, I think, Ria, you said it, with the Jack Crusher being a traveller.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I think now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Same here. And I can't take credit for that. That was Pierre's.
Mm.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Pierre came up with that, but it fits for me, and I totally it's headcanon for me now, and that redeems the Traveler for me, because I agree with you. In season 1, when we're first introduced to the Traveler, it is a little hokey, but the fact that we have the Traveler again in the Beverly episode, whose title I can't think of, when the universe
Remember Me.
Remember Me. Thank you. So we have the Traveler and Remember Me, and then how we have the first season introduction of the Traveler, and then it wraps up in season 7 with Journey's End, and brings kind of the Wesley arc full around. That redeems a traveler for me. And yeah, and thinking that Jack was a traveler, and
Otherwise, it becomes a little bit less science fiction and more fantasy, doesn't it? Like like the golden child has been born and he's got special powers, like an X-Man mutant, or the wee girl from V.
force sensitive. He's got enough midichlorians in him to.
Yeah.
Well, what are some favorite relationships that you see Wesley having on the Enterprise?
My favorite would be his relationship with Picard, because I think they both grew tremendously from it. We go into season 1 and Picard states outright he doesn't like children, and from the very beginning he doesn't want Wesley on the bridge and shut up Wesley and all that stuff. And then over the seasons, and partly because of his relationship with Beverly, he becomes like a father figure to Wesley, and both of them have to adapt to that, because originally Wesley held some resentment against him because he was the reason his father ended up getting killed. Getting killed with air quotes, because Jack was really a traveler and he'll never die, blah, ha, ha. But also, obviously, Captain Picard had to get used to, I don't know, spending time with Wesley and mentoring him and being a father figure to him. And the growth in Tapestry when they were on the shuttlecraft together. In the final mission, there were a couple quotes from the final mission when Picard was, lying there dying, and Wesley says, "Sir, you don't know this. No one knows this, because I've never told anyone. All of the things that I've worked for, school, my science projects, getting into the academy, I've done it all because I want you to be proud of me." And I think that comes around again in Final Journey. And then another thing that Wesley says to Picard is, "If there's one thing that I've learned from you, it's that you don't quit. And I'm not going to quit now. I've seen you think yourself out of worse situations than this, and I'm going to think us out of this. You're not going to die. I'm not going to let you die. I'll get to the water, and I'll keep you alive until they find us. I promise." And as we know, Starfleet doesn't lie. So,
right.
Yeah.
You stole my quote.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's what you get for letting me go first.
No. I knew it would come out.
So that's my favorite relationship.
I think it has to be, isn't it? It's the one that shows the most growth over the years, because it starts out negative, but then it becomes that father-son relationship. I think you're spot on there.
It was interesting, looking at, of course, going to Memory Alpha, and then under relationships, like there's paragraph after paragraph about Picard. And that seems to be the most important relationship. And I think Wesley's character allowed not only Picard, but other members of the crew to sort of take on that father figure role that, all shows love to have, this father figure. And Picard, like you said, and Wesley, it starts out a little tumultuous because he doesn't like kids, but to see the progression and how they really do depend on each other, and how Wesley wants to please Picard and, final mission and everything. It's just really quite amazing. And in the first duty where Picard's like, yeah, we're friends, but I'm captain and you did something wrong and you got to fess up and let's take care of it appropriately. And one thing that I really liked is when not only the first duty where Picard sort of steps in and shows Wesley how to go about repairing the damage he's done, but also Beverly does that in Evolution. And I think it gives like these younger viewers, and especially me, the courage to sort of step up. In Evolution, he only told Guinan that what he did, affected the ship systems and the nanites and everything. And then Beverly's like, "You've got to tell me what's going on." "Well, you weren't here." Oh, that stung. But she turns it and it gives appropriate response of, "But I'm here now." And when he makes the confession to Beverly, she goes right in, gets all the bridge officers, and starts explaining the scenario and how are we going to get out of it, just the same as Picard. And I think those two examples really show us, like, he is a kid and he makes mistakes. He's not saving the day in these scenarios, and he needs help. And when seeing that and just recognizing he's not saving the ship all the time and that do make mistakes, but there's a way to get out of it. It reminds me of a story when I was very young, middle school age, so 14 years old. Oh, yeah, 13. Oh, yeah. And
Victoria was queen, I'm sure.
Back in the Victorian days, my older sisters were a little bad influence on me, and we started stealing from stores. 5-finger discount. Terrible, terrible. Listeners, don't do this. But I found this really cute pink skirt at the mall, and I really, really wanted it, and I stole it from the store. Oh my goodness. And my parents found out. I was devastated. And my sister stole too, but I was the one who got in trouble. That's a whole nother story. But I remember my dad and stepmom, when they found out, they're like, you are going right back into that store. We're going to talk to the manager. You are going to apologize. And they got the mall police in there to give me a talking to. I was in tears. But my parents stepped in to help me navigate that scenario. And my goodness, I never stole a thing again in my life. I did not want to have that feeling. But like, sometimes you need adults to come in, step in, walk you through and figure out a way. Okay, I need to correct the situation. I'm in the wrong. How do we go about to repair that? And I love those examples that we get to see that in Star Trek.
And that's a great point too, that adults need to let their kids make mistakes. That's the best way to learn, because you can't just shelter someone their whole lives. Then they go out into the world and it's chaos. But when, I guess, as a loving parent or parent figure, you let your kids make mistakes and then guide them down the right path. See, they just didn't want you to end up like your sisters, Amy.
Yes. It was out of love.
I'm kind of shocked. I'm kind of stunned to silence by this.
Oh, dear.
Our Miss Amy Nelson's a felon.
But back to Picard and Wesley.
Yeah.
In The First Duty, just, of course, Patrick Stewart's such an amazing actor, but the look of just disappointment on his face, when he found out what had happened and when he confronts Wesley, and that, I think you could see how strong their relationship had become, because he was like, Amy's dad, just completely let down and devastated that his child would do something so heinous.
Yes. Oh, they were so disappointed. Oh my gosh. I'm reliving the feelings again. I'll go with another.
Go with another, because I'm...
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So my second pick for relationships, I absolutely love Wesley and Worf together. I think they're so funny. And when Wesley's going around asking for relationship advice and he's talking to Worf, and like the first thing, because it cuts from a commercial and it comes with Worf screaming, "Ah!" You're like, what in the heck? And he's like, that doesn't really sound like it's for me. What did well, no, that's what the women do. And, the men are just dodging because the women are throwing things.
Yes.
It's so cute. But then to have Wesley recognize that Worf's having a bad day and he needs his ascension, the rite of ascension, and with the pain sticks. And that is all Wesley. Like, he recognizes when his friends are down and tries to figure out and does a great job. And I think that was so important for Worf and Wesley in their friendship. So I really like that relationship too.
That's not really a relationship you would naturally put together.
And I think it's because of Wesley's innocence that there even is that relationship in the first place. He's like naive and childlike enough to not be intimidated by Worf.
Yeah, and he's always asking Worf questions. I thought Klingons weren't afraid of anything, and then Worf's sage counsel. Well, you need to be afraid of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember the quote, but that's what it was.
Can we come back to the first duty?
Yes.
Because a lot of what I was reading about why people didn't like Wesley is because he seems too perfect. He doesn't have any flaws.
Yeah, but he does.
He's a teenager grown up amongst adults. So he's going to, on the Federation's flagship, so he's going to have huge amounts of pressure on him from that side. Plus he's a teenager, so he's going to have all the kind of what's going on with him changing, becoming an adult. That's going to have a huge effect on him. And like for a whole year, his mum's away at Starfleet Medical, so there's that to contend with on a ship with few teenagers on it. So yeah, I think he comes through everything quite admirably, but we do see him having flaws. Yeah, he is a bit sulky sometimes, but what teenager isn't? Yeah, and he makes the mistake in the first duty, which is kind of compounded by the fact that he lies. But I think we've all been in situations where peer pressure has made us do things that under normal circumstances we wouldn't do. So I can forgive that. He's by no means perfect, which makes him more human.
Exactly, and relatable.
Mm.
Okay, I have another relationship.
Okay.
I know. Like I said, doing the research, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really do like Wesley. And I think that they did a pretty good job on teenagers interacting and dating. Like it's such a new time and you don't want to make it too sexual, like an adult relationship. But I think that they do a really good job in the Dolphin and in the game. I love how they write how timid and like, oh, how do I approach Celia like in the Dolphin, and then their first kiss and how he says that he loves her like first love, and then it hurts because she's not who she says she is. Like that, all of that introduction to a relationship with Celia and with Robin Leffler, I think they did that very well. And it shows just this innocence and the starting of teenage love, which is just so wonderful. I don't see that written in other series. Like Jake with the Muse. Like
Gosh.
An older woman. Like that's not okay. They did Wesley much better than that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And I like his and Robin's relationship in the game, and they know that they're about to part ways, and so it's pretty, lighthearted. And I just, while you were talking, Amy, noticed a parallel I hadn't before with Celia. When Wesley finds out that she's not what he thought he was, he kind of throws a little snit, whatever, and it reminded me of when Dr. Crusher finds out that the Trill was a Trill and had a worm living in him, and she kind of got a little upset about that too.
Joe, did you like them showing Wesley dating?
He did better than LaForge.
Right?
Well, yeah, LaForge, everything LaForge does is just really cringy. Coco Nonos. Why? Why did you make me think of Coco Nonos? And then let's stop talking about that beach date that he has. I think it's a lot more. It didn't really strike. I don't think it really affected me. It didn't speak to me on any level. In hindsight, I think it was done quite tastefully. It wasn't over-sexualized, because if they did it nowadays, it would be all about the sex for teenagers, and it would cheapen it, I think. So yeah, as a young gay teenager, his heterosexual relationships probably didn't kind of come out and say much to me.
Well, I know that we sort of have put in our moments and quotes throughout. Do we have any others that might have missed?
My favorite moment / favorite quote, I guess my favorite Wesley moment is Journey's End. I really like how it bookends that. But my favorite quote is from Ronald D. Moore. And when I read this quote, like that really, when I first saw Journey's End, it was kind of meh for me. I've come to appreciate it more over the years, but when I read this quote, I'm like, oh yes, this is perfect. So I think it was in 1997, Ronald D. Moore said, I was the one who pushed to get Wesley out of the academy and send him off with the Traveler. I felt that there was a built-in contradiction in a character that we'd said was like Mozart in his appreciation of higher mathematics and physics, yet was just on the same career path as any Starfleet cadet. I didn't get it. If Wes is truly special and gifted, what the hell is he doing at the helm? It seemed like he was only going to the academy to live up to the memory of his father and the expectations of Picard, not because it was his best destiny. Journey's End also seemed like an opportunity to see someone walk away from Starfleet with their head held high and just say, it's cool, but not for me. I was tired of everyone in the 24th century saying, all I want to do is to wear the uniform and serve on a starship. Hey, it's cool, but it's not for everyone. So I pushed to have Wes realize his destiny was elsewhere and have him walk away. I love that. And rewatching Journey's End just recently, like, yes, this is perfect. Wesley needs to go off with the Traveler. And
I love that too, reading that and hearing you say that, like, because we want that diversity. And yeah, everyone's ideal. Let's join Starfleet, da, da, da. No, there's other things out there. And Wesley's Crusher got to explore that. And it is a shame that they brought him back into Nemesis, back into Starfleet. It's just like, no, he had a brilliant, even better life. Being a Traveler. Come on. Yeah.
we can pretend he wasn't a Nemesis.
It wasn't. It was deleted.
Well, it was deleted. Yeah.
There you go. So it always kind of bugged me that Wesley was supposed to be this wonderkin with all these special talents. And then in which episode was it where he takes the test for Starfleet Academy and doesn't get in?
Coming of age.
Coming of age, thank you. I don't know why I can't remember these anymore. He gets beat out. Well, that whole episode always kind of bugged me because are you telling me that every single Starfleet officer on that ship, from Tasha Yar to Barclay to everyone in between had to go through the same rigorous process, and then Wesley can't get in? I don't think so. So yeah, I was glad to see that his best destiny was elsewhere.
My quote comes from Coming of Age. And it just speaks about how his experience that he's had on the Enterprise when he bumps into the Rondon, not Rondon. And Rondon says to him, How dare you? I am Rondon, you despicable melanoid slime worm, liar! And Wesley knows realizes what's going on. So he's like, who do you think you're bullying? You bumped into me. It was your mistake. You were at fault. Do you want this to become violent? And the Rondon guy's like, friend, I like you. And it's because Wesley has realized that he's not Rondon at all. He is Zoldan. Because he's got the webbed fingers.
Webbed fingers, yes.
Yes, and Zoldans are infuriated by kind of politeness.
Nicety.
Yes. And so Wesley has to be culturally appropriate, has to kind of just be really horrible and mean back. So I kind of really like that. It's a fun quote, it's a fun scene, and it's Wesley showing his training.
I would love to see more of that race on Lower Decks.
Well, just might happen since they listen to us.
That's right. Every week.
Well, I've been talking about evolution a lot and the dolphin because I did just recently watch them to prepare for this. But one thing that I feel captures Wesley curiosity is a quote where he's talking to Celia when he takes her to the holodeck and he's showing her all the different places or, what we could experience when we visit. And she's so impressed. And have you been there? And he says, this is all just the beginning. We've only charted 19% of our galaxy. The rest is out there just waiting. And I'm just like, he's so curious and he wants to go explore. I mean, it's almost sets up the traveler, you know?
Yeah, they were very consistent with his character in that regard.
All right, guys, final thoughts on Wesley.
Listeners, if you know me, you know I've always liked Wesley because similar age, grown up in the 80s, and it's just what I wanted to be doing. So I wanted to be Wesley Crusher. Out of all of them, it was the best fit because of the age thing. And he was just really cool. He got to do all the cool stuff, like Ria said. He got to sit on the bridge and be an adult and do adult ship flying things. So yeah, that was really cool. Love Wesley Crusher.
And that's interesting that because he got to do all the cool things and sit on the ship and all the stuff that I knew I would never, ever be able to do. I guess I carried that resentment for quite a while because honestly, when I saw that we were doing this episode a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, ugh, Wesley Crusher. Still subconsciously, I have some of that. And it's not for the reasons that everyone else didn't like him, but it was just like when I was a kid, his age, watching him do all this cool stuff that I didn't get to do. Yeah, it bugged me, so sorry for my psychological moment here. I should probably talk to a therapist or something. But looking back at him now and seeing that, again, it's just accepted fact now that he is part traveler. And seeing his arc come around and the lessons that he had to learn, in human form first and the mistakes he had to make first before he was ready to go off into his alternate dimensions. Yeah, he's super cool. I wonder if he'll be in Lower Decks.
And meet up with that Rondon guy again.
Oh, yeah.
But as a traveler this time.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh. In thinking about Wesley and I wanted to bring up one other thing also about how Wesley isn't saving the ship. In Naked Now, or Naked Time, whichever one is the TNG one.
Naked Now.
Okay, thank you. And he gets this intoxicated bug or whatever, and he goes down to engineering and he's taking out all the microchips. Isolinear chips. So now the Enterprise can't move. It can't go anywhere because, and the opposite of Wesley saving the ship. I mean, it's just too funny. So, but I love that we have Wesley on the Enterprise because, like I said, we get to see a lot of father figures and people, stepping into that role. We get to see a teenage relationships with him dating Celia and Robin Leffler. We get to see him be a good friend to Worf and all these, it's just so a great character. And although we know Wesley and Beverly don't get the screen time as mother-son, but there are definitely good moments there. So we get that relationship. Again, a single mother raising the son. So it sort of got me thinking about it takes a village and that whole philosophy of raising children. And it's not just the responsibility of the parents, but it's everyone. I feel that very strongly as a teacher. I'm sure Joe does as well. Like it takes a lot of people to raise good people, a good person. So in the episode of the child, the last scene, that is where we learn Beverly is off at Starfleet Medical, but we still have Wesley Crusher on the ship. And so we're going to do a little reenactment of the last scene of the child. And Riker starts out, all stations secure.
Just before we start, I'm going to speak to my agent because last time I got 3 lines. This time I've got 4 lines.
Oh.
You guys are just hogging the limelight. I just wanted to say that for the record.
Well,
okay.
you volunteered to
be
be Wesley,
we can start now though. So.
Okay. But we will renegotiate your contract.
It's fine.
Yes.
I shouldn't have mentioned it. I'm the best actor out of all of us. So maybe just for next time. Keep it in
next
mind.
time.
Alrighty.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Riker. All stations secure.
Take us out of orbit, Mr. Crusher. Lay in a course for the Morgana quadrant.
Yes, sir.
Ensign Crusher has requested to remain on the Enterprise.
I'm not surprised. How did you respond?
I haven't as yet, number one. I didn't think it was my responsibility alone. His remaining will create difficulties for us all.
Yes, indeed. With his mother gone, who will see to his studies?
Exactly, of course. That duty will fall to Commander Data.
And who will tuck him in at night?
Come on, Commander.
I will accept that responsibility.
Well, we know he'll get his sleep.
That takes care of the practical, but there's more to growing up than that. It's my belief, number one, that you're best qualified to supervise that. Are you willing to serve?
Difficult decision. Yes, I can do that.
Well, Mr. Crusher, communicate with your mother at Starfleet Medical Headquarters. Give her my regards and tell her you have my permission to remain on the Enterprise, but I will abide by her wishes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I know she'll agree.
Now, if you have course and speed laid in...
Yes, sir, they are.
Then, Mr. Crusher, engage.
Boop, 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 boop.
End scene. Oh, it
That was
does
so
take
good.
a village.
Yes, it
That was
does.
so good there.
I just got fired there.
You guys are
It
acceptable.
felt like I was listening to Patrick Stewart, Ria. That was amazing.
I thought it was more like Sean Connery, but drunk and possibly underwater.
Yeah. A little bit. You can work out, do you know what? If you practice something enough, you'll get better at it. So I've been doing Wesley for a while now, so that's why it was like that Will
Natural.
Wheaton was in the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, you should have auditioned.
Hey, side note, have you been listening to Investigates, the new podcast with Gates McFadden?
Not yet.
No, I boycott all other
Oh, okay.
podcasts.
She,
Even ours.
yes, yeah, me too.
Okay, William Shatner.
She did an interview with Will Wheaton, and you guys and listeners, please go and listen to it. What Will reveals, and it's a two-parter, so amazing, and I just feel so much more compassion for Will Wheaton, aside from Wesley Crusher. Like, it's really, really amazing and a wonderful interview. So I would highly recommend that.
I heard about that. I heard Gates talking about that in another interview. And then when I rewatched, I think it was Journey's End today, and there's a scene between Beverly and Wesley, and the fondness that they look at each other, like the genuine affection. Yeah.
Incoming transmission.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's show and hope you'll join the Facebook group Federation Council Chambers. You're welcome to start conversations with us or add any general Star Trek info you want to share with the group.
If you'd like to send us an email, you can email us directly at galaxyclass@ufp.earth, and we just might read your email on the show, and we probably definitely will read your email on the show. You can also follow us on Twitter at GalaxyClassPod.
Please hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a star rating and written review. That helps others to find the show. You can also follow the entire network's podcast with our master feed by searching United Federation of Podcasts. This way you won't miss any of our fine shows like All Good Things, Franchise Fatigue, Always Hold On to Arrow, General Quarters, Mickey's Marvels, Infinite Diversity, Trek Pod, History with the Szilagys, and Sasquatch.
We're getting a lot of shows on this network. It's pretty exciting.
So Ria, where can people find you when you're not removing all the isolinear chips from engineering?
Well, I should be done with that pretty quickly, so you can find me working the ramp and pushing back your aircraft at the airport. You can also find me on the Federation Council Chambers. You can even send me an email at riapod47@gmail.com. That's RIAPOD47@gmail.com. So, Amy, where can people find you when you are not busy dating teenage girls?
Well, when I'm not doing that, you can find me right here on the network where I am hosting All Good Things with my good friends Ken and Pat. I am also on Union Federation Podcast where we talk about the Orville and Star Trek. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Amy Nelson and, of course, on Facebook, Federation Council Chambers. And Joe, where can people find you when you are saving the ship?
Well,
Where are you saving the ship from?
I'm probably coming to rescue you from prison because you've been dating these teenage girls. So I'm going to be coming to rescue you from prison because you've been dating teenage girls and buying them stolen gifts.
Pink miniskirts. Yep, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. When I'm not doing that, you can find me on the Federation Council Chambers. You can tweet me on the Twitter at JoeyJoe77UK, or you can email me, joepodcasts@gmail.com.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
If you'd like to help us keep all our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/UFPearth to get all the details.
We would like to recognize our executive producers, Brandon Shea Mutala, Ken Tripp, Zach Moore, and Tony Robinson. We would also like to thank Zach Tripp for our opening and closing music, and Tony Robinson for our beautiful artwork week after week.
Thank you for beaming aboard the Galaxy class, and until next time,
I always get an A.
I'm with Starfleet. We don't lie.
great joy and gratitude.
Engage.
This has been a production of MTMR Media Works.
Well, we are going to...
Hold on a minute. Can we just address what Ria said there?
Do it.
Peanut butter on eggs.
OMG. Do not knock it until you have tried it.
Oh
I know,
my
but
gosh.
come
Is
on.
this another bacon-wrapped banana story?
Okay,
Yeah,
so I love
a
peanut
garlic
butter, right?
waffle.
Garlic waffles are amazing. Y'all are not living your lives to their fullest. But anyway, I love peanut butter. And I thought I put peanut butter on everything. And then I was working at the airport a few days ago. We had a delay. I was working with a platinum medallion to rebook him, and someone that I used to see all the time. So we're just catching up on things. And I don't know how the topic came up, but he said he put peanut butter on eggs, and I was like, what? I've never thought of that. So I tried it a couple days later and just sauteed some broccoli and mushrooms in butter, then fried a couple eggs in butter. I think I threw some tahini on there because that goes on everything, maybe some pepper, a little bit of oregano. Anyway, put it on the plate, glop of crunchy peanut butter on top, and it like melts right into the eggs. It was amazing. And I have made it again, and I will make it again. And
I'm calling that like an omelette, a satay omelette.
Yeah.
Like satay sauce is made of peanuts.
Right.
Oh,
It's almost like peanut butter sauce.
Yeah.
Like, but it's used in Asian food.
Mm-hmm.
So
satay. Okay, got it.
That's what I said.
I was trying to
Satay.
translate. Yes, got it. I'm with you, Joe.
That's a
Okay.
good idea, Joe. I'll throw some chicken in there next time. And peanut butter in my eggs. Now I'm hungry.
I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
sounds
think
good.
I have an issue. I'm sure it's delicious, yeah.
It is.
And I'm quite open-minded when it comes to culinary mashups. However, there's a potential textural issue with the fried eggs
Yes.
and the peanut butter melted into the vegetables.
I kind of make it kind of like an omelet. I kind of fold the vegetables into the eggs, kind of fold it in half. So the peanut butter
And
went
then
on
the
top of the eggs.
Top.
And it did
of the
melt
egg
in. And it
envelope.
was crunchy peanut butter. So you had that little texture there. A little bit of crunch to it, but then the peanut butter itself was kind of the consistency of like butter or cream cheese maybe on the eggs.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to accept this on the grounds that on scrambled eggs or omelette, people put tomato sauce
Mhm.
or barbecue sauce. Do you know what I mean? They add sauces in, which are full of sugar and fat anyway, and peanut butter's no different.
Except lower in sugar. In fact, I specifically buy like no sugar added peanut butter.
Okay.
Because who wants sweet peanut butter? Ew.
Okay.
This weird food moment brought to you by Ria.
Brought to you by
Yeah.
the culinary experts of Galaxy Class.
No. Brought to you by Ria. That was correct. Amy and I wish to dissociate with your culinary expertise. Thank you.
Don't knock it till you try it.
How did you see your prison time? Do you have a tattoo like a tramp stamp that says Barbara's bitch or something? Because that was your cellmate. Yeah.
Yes, teardrops. Oh, you guys.
Skirt drop.
How many teardrops? I thought it was just stealing a pink skirt.
Yeah, just
you've actually killed. You've killed people as well.
How do you think she got the skirt out of the store?
Did you actually sharpen a toothbrush in
Make
prison?
a little sheave.
Yeah, a sheave.
I had to bust out of there, man.
That's right. Get back home to
I would have baked you that cake with the file in it.
Thank you.
You're a good pal, Joe.
Dear. Mm-hmm.
Back in the day.
I should have.
Now,
Postscript.
Oh,
Wait a minute. It would have been perfect to have a Scottish Wesley Crusher. Because Beverly was Scottish, right?
No, she wasn't.
I thought she was. In a very stereotypical bad way.
Offensive way, yeah.
Yeah, in an offensive way, yes. You could have been the
so
token.
No, she wasn't. Thanks.